Okay, so I believe that everyone who wanted to join today has joined. So now we will slowly begin with this webinar. So welcome to our free online education series of webinars, and good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to anyone and everyone who is listening today. My name is Amela Mimic, and I'm working as a BIM manager at BEXEL Consulting. So for those who were not listening yesterday's seminar or webinar, I will make a short introduction. And just to say that this webinar was designed to follow the sequence of chapters, or should I say lessons, in the document called BEXEL Step-by-Step Workflow Guide, which we have released earlier in this summer. So, to begin, the first question which appears is, how can you get a BEXEL Manager software? If you are interested in the software and you would like to try it, we highly advise you to visit our BEXELmanager.com website and then go to the trial request section where you have two different options. The first one is the option standard trial, where you should click on it and then click on the request trial command so the form for the trial version appears. Just fill it, and when we will receive the form, we will send you back the trial version on the email that was provided on the form. If we go back to the trial version section, we have here also an educational license. This license is intended to support education, and it is meant for all students, PhD candidates, and university professors. And this is actually an annual license. So with this educational license and the trial version, you will also receive a fully developed 3D BIM model, which is ready for 3D, 4D, and 5D BIM analysis. And also by that, you will receive a password for our BEXEL user area. So what is the BEXEL user area? It is located on our website, and as you enter the BEXEL user area, this window will appear. As you can see, the user area is divided in three different sections. So click on the Materials section, where you will receive all the materials you need to learn everything about our software, BEXEL Manager. So if you click on the Manuals section, you will find here various documents, such as, for example, already mentioned, BEXEL Manager Step-by-Step Workflow Guide. Within this folder, you can also, within this manual section, you can also find the document Handbook for BEXEL Software Suite, which explains common BIM workflows through the use of the BEXEL Manager, the manual, which explains the use of the tools of BEXEL Manager, and they are also explained, as you can see, in various languages. So, if you would rather watch video tutorials, you can activate the tutorials section. And if you would like to know more about add-ins and how to use them within the BEXEL Manager and API scripts, you can just activate those two sections. where you can find all material you will need. The next folder is the demo sample projects, where we have actually prepared different sample models. One of them is the BEXEL large-scale sample project, which was actually created in Revit and contains various buildings. Along with this large sample project, you will also receive a PDF document where it is thoroughly explained how you can create a 5D BIM model. So the next document, or should I say folder, is the Pro-V-based BEXEL infrastructure sample project, which is actually an IFC file created in the Pro-V. And with that, you will also receive a PDF document where you can see the explanation of how to create a 5D model. So for all of you who are using the Archicad sample project, just click on this sample project. And as you can see, it is in English and German, and this one, so Pro-V project, is also. We will work in the Revit-based BEXEL sample model, which is also located in the document step-by-step workflow guide. So this webinar is not the first one that we have released, and if you would like to listen to more webinars, just activate the webinar materials section and choose one of them. If you would like to create 5D models, you have here a full list of different databases, and you can download them and use them in the process of creating a 5D model. So now we will go back, and I advise you to download this document, and you will receive a folder, a BEXEL Manager step-by-step workflow guide, which you should extract. And within this folder, you will find 4 different folders, which one of them is the start project, which contains no analysis. And then you have the next folder, which is the complete model with all analysis. And the lesson folders contains the lessons that are described in the PDF document, and also all the Exchange folders you will need to follow through the exercises. And of course, you will also get a PDF document. So, yesterday we covered lessons 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. And today we will talk about the lesson 4 from the BEXEL step-by-step workflow guide. So I think I have covered everything about the BEXEL user area, how you can download our trial or version or the educational license. And I think it's time that we go to our BEXEL sample project. But before we start, I would also advise you that if you have any questions, just please use the question and answers section within the Zoom, and my co-workers will try to answer to your questions. Okay, so just a quick review of yesterday's topics. Yesterday, we talked about how to activate our BEXEL Manager, how to create new versions and new projects. And within it, we have also talked about how to review your model using the Building Explorer, which is located on the left side of the screen. and using the properties palette, which is located on the right side of the screen. And we also talked a little bit about the project information, rename project, and sources commands, which enable you to review basic informations about the project. And we also talked about how the BEXEL Manager is not an BIM authoring tool, rather it is a BIM management tool. So it does not enable the user to change the geometry of the model. But of course, you can create several different 3D, 4D, and 5D BIM analysis. So further on, we have also talked about different tabs within the Building Explorer and how you can review properties, delete them, and create new ones. We have also talked about different types of files which you are using when you are dealing with BEXEL Manager. And we have said that you can use a BX3 file format, which is created when you are creating a model in Revit, and then using the BX3 publisher. And if you don't know yet, you can also import in BEXEL Manager an IFC file, because as a software, we support the Open BIM standards. And by that, we should also mention that you can also export different IFC files. So now we will go to the lesson 4, which is actually titled The Custom Breakdown. The Custom Breakdown palette is located on the left side of the screen and enables you as the user to divide the project, the BIM model that you have imported in BEXEL Manager based on one or several criterions. So you can divide the custom breakdown on sources, on properties this model contains, and also you can divide it on categories and families which are defined in this project. So now we will go to the custom breakdown palette, and as we have used the start model, which has no analysis, this custom breakdown is empty. So first of all, we will create a new custom breakdown where we will divide the project based on the sources this federated model contains. So click on the arrow next to the new command and then on the blank custom breakdown. A window which is named Create Custom Breakdown will open, and just define a new name of your breakdown, and we will name it Exercise 1. In the type section, you can define what will contain your breakdown. So in our first exercise, we will define the type as buildings. Our project contains only one building, but if it would contain more buildings, you could create a breakdown only for a certain building that you would choose, or all of them. So check the box in front of the building and click on the Use Selection command. Now you can see here that this breakdown will contain more than 11,000 of elements. So now we will go back to the command which is named Add Breakdown Rule and click on it. And here in the drop-down menu, you can see various options. And in this exercise, we will choose the Group by Source option. And to finish the process, we will click on the OK button. So if we go back to our custom breakdown palette, you will see that this breakdown contains three different groups. And as you select one of those groups, you can see that it is here in the palette, colored blue, and in the viewport, the elements that are a part of this source are colored yellow. So if we go back to the Building Explorer palette, which is located near the custom breakdowns in the left side of the screen, you can see the elements which are divided in families and categories. And as you can see, some of them are colored blue. So that means that the selected elements from the viewport, which are a part of the architectural demo sample building source, are actually divided in those families. So if you scroll down, you can see which families from which categories are active in the viewport. And this is the way how the Building Explorer palette and also the Custom Breakdowns palette is linked to each other. That is also the case for the selection sets. In the selection sets palette, we can see that it is also empty. And this is the topic covered in the lesson 5. So for now, we will leave this selection set alone palette and we will go back to the custom breakdowns. So now you can activate another source, and if you go back to the viewport and click with the right click in the empty space, just to choose in the contextual menu the option isolate and then selected elements. Now you will see all elements which are a part of this source. So yesterday we wanted to review basic information about the BIM project, the BIM model. So we activated the sources command. And as you activate this window, you have a list of all the sources your federated model contains. And if you review this list with this custom breakdown and compare it, you will see the list is the same. The only difference is that here you can review the sources also in the viewport and analyze the elements that are a part of certain source. So now we have explained how you can create a simple custom breakdown that divides the projects on different sources, which can be a very useful tool when you're dealing with a large number of different sources, because it enables you to review a single source, one source at a time. So now we will go back to the custom breakdown palette and we will try to edit this custom breakdown. And before we do that, we will analyze the line of commands which is currently activated because we have created a custom breakdown. So for example, those two commands, show all elements and invert visibility, are also in the palette Building Explorer and selection sets. And as you can see, it enables the user to show all elements in the viewport. These two commands are linked to the list, so they collapse or expand the list. The new command we have already used has two options. The first one is to create a blank custom breakdown, and the second one is that we create a breakdown on the basis of elements that we have already selected. Then we have the edit command, which we will use now, the delete command, which you use if you would like to delete a certain custom breakdown. Then you have the edit legend command, and we will talk about this command a little bit later. Also, we will talk about the templates command, and the selection command allows you to click and select in the viewport certain elements which can then be added to a certain custom breakdowns. Those commands will be also active in the selection sets palette. So now we will go back to our custom breakdown and we will edit it. Once you create a custom breakdown, it can always be edited by adding a new rule. And in our case, we will add the set color coding rule. What does that mean? We will define that every group of elements which are a part of this breakdown will be colored in a different color. So if you use the reset tree, you can see that now only the rule is visible and not the results. So click on it, and as you have added the color coding rule, we will finish the process by clicking on the OK button. And now you can see in the custom breakdown palette that every group, every source has its own color. If we go back to the viewport, above the viewport you have a list of views. And please activate the 3D color-coded view. So now you can see that every source is colored in a different color, and this 3D color-coded view is used only when you are creating a custom breakdown or a quantity takeoff. And here is the viewer mode, which if your custom breakdown wouldn't be seen in the 3D color-coded view after you have added the color-coded rule, you just click here and select either a quantity takeoff or a custom breakdown. So in the viewer mode, the custom breakdowns has to be defined. Okay, if we go to the Building Explorer and to the tab Spatial Structure within the Building Explorer, we can review our elements by different levels. For example, if I deactivate the roof, you will see the elements which are colored by sources. And as I scroll through a different group of elements or a different element, you can see a box of information, which is not seen in the viewport. And that's because I have deactivated this box of information, which we call the tooltip. So if you go back to the 3D color-coded view and the tooltip is bothering you, just go back, just click with the right click in the empty space, choose the viewport options, and click on the tooltip options tab, where you can uncheck the use tooltip command. Or you could just, in this parameters window defined which information will be shown and what and how large will be the tooltip. So you can click on the OK button, and as you scroll through through different elements, you will see that the tooltip doesn't appear anymore. So now we will go back to the Building Explorer, and as we deactivate a certain story, you can see the elements which are placed in a certain story and are colored by the source to which they belong. Okay, so now we will go back, and if you would like to change the legend of the colors, you can go to the Edit Legend and define which color source you will change. Go to the Change command and define a new color. These are the basic colors. If you want to define a custom color, click on the Define Custom Color command and define it. When you are satisfied, just click on the OK button. And here you can see that the color is changed. Of course, you are just editing the color palette for the custom breakdown, not for the elements of the BIM model. So click on the OK command and the color of this source is changed. So now we will go to the second exercise where we will create a custom breakdown based on the discrete property. So click on the arrow next to the new command and choose the option Blank Custom Breakdown. In the window, define the name, which is Exercise 2, and under the Type section, we will leave the Buildings option. Afterwards, click on the building, so check the box in front of the building and click on the Use Selection command. As you can see, our project will contain all elements from the BIM model. So now click on the Add Breakdown rule and within the drop-down menu, choose the option Group by Discrete Property. A Select Discrete Property will open, and here you have in this window the list of all properties which this BIM model contains. So if you're making a custom breakdown based on a certain property, you can find it here, or you can enter, for example, mass, which is the abbreviation for master format, and then just click on the filter option. In the window, you have a list of 2 properties which contain this abbreviation, and click on the master format. To finish this process, click on the OK button, and to review the custom breakdown in the 3D color-coded view, click on the Set Color Coding rule. Finish the process by clicking on the OK button. So now you have a list of all the groups and different values of property, which is called master format. As you can see, the breakdown contains 73 different groups, and for each value, you have also the number of elements that have the value, for example, 033113 of the property master format. And in this case, when you use a custom breakdown where you define a discrete property, you can make a simple check of the BIM model, a quality check of the properties which are defined within the BIM elements. Because if you go to the, for example, this group of elements which have an undefined value, and if you isolate those elements in the viewport by clicking with the right click in the viewport and choosing the option Isolate Selected Elements, you will have a preview of elements who do not have the master format property. So for example, if you go down, you will see that if I click on this element, this house here, and if I go to the properties palette, you will see in the text group that this house does not have the property which is called master format. So if I will do further on some different analysis which will be based on the master format property, this element, along with other elements who do not have a defined property master format, will not be a part of the BIM analysis. Also, if I click on the spaces, which are here, and if I scroll down in the Properties tab, I will see that the Spaces category, this element, has the master format property, but the value for this property is not defined. So in this case also, if you have elements which have the property but not a defined value, and if you would like to create a certain BIM analysis, those elements and those analysis will not be properly done until every element from the BIM model has all the properties defined correctly and also the values for it. So this is the second way how you can use the custom breakdown palette. And the third one is that you can create a custom breakdown, and on the basis of the groups from the custom breakdown, you can then further on create selection sets, which are actually groups of elements. But this topic we will cover in the lesson 5. So now go back and we will create another custom breakdown using the substring command within the window adding discrete property. Click on the arrow, use the blank custom breakdown option and define the name. The name will be exercise number 3, and once again the type we will choose in this section we will choose the buildings, and we will check the box in front of the building. So if you click on the command use selection, you will see that the breakdown will have so many elements. So now go back to the add rule and use the group by discrete property option, where you enter the mass abbreviation, use the filter. If you want to cancel the filter, just click on this icon, use the master format property. As you can see here, this is a textual property, and then use the substring command, which is activated when you choose a certain property within this window. and now defined the starting position and the length. So with that, you will actually create a breakdown upon the master format property, but it will acknowledge the starting position, which is the first value of the property, and the, I don't know, the second one, third one, fourth one, or the fifth one. So it will acknowledge a letter or a number within the value of the chosen property. So I will define now here the number 5, and I will click on the OK button. And then I will add another property, which is also a discrete property. And in this case, this will be the master format. Click on the filter after you have entered the abbreviation mass, and then choose the master format property again and finish the process by clicking on the OK button. So now you can see that our custom breakdown contains two sets of rules, and I will add the set color coding rule. And this command is only applied to one rule at a time. And to finish the process, click on the OK button. So now you can see that we have a different custom breakdown where we have a group which contains two subfolders. And we have used the master format property, but of course you can use the uniformat property, which is also defined in the properties palette and within a certain element or group of elements, and you can create a realistic uniformat structure within the custom breakdown palette. So now we will go to the exercise 4, where we will add a continuous property, but we will not make a blank custom breakdown. We will first select different categories, and then upon those selected categories, we will create a custom breakdown. So go back to the 3D view, and then choose the Building Explorer palette and click on the Elements tab. As you can see, here is the whole list of all the categories and families which the sample model contains. So click on the command Collapse All and choose the category walls. To isolate those elements in the viewport, activate the contextual menu, choose the option Isolate, and then Selected Elements. So now only the selected elements of the category walls or activated in the viewport. Go back to the Custom Breakdowns palette and click on the arrow next to the new command so you can choose the option from selected elements. As you can see in the type section, the elements are defined and divided in building stories. So now click on the name and enter the name of the breakdown, which is exercise 4. And after you have defined the name, click on the Use Selection command. And now you will see in this window that our breakdown contains only 633 different elements. So now click on the Add Breakdown rule, and from this menu, choose the Group by Discrete property. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Choose group by continuous property. My mistake. So within the window, add continuous property rule. In the filter section, enter the area and click on the filter. Now you can see that we have a list of properties which contain the name property, the name area, the word area. So click on this one and then go to the range border. And now enter a number, for example, 10. If you click on the Add button, you will see in the range border that the breakdown will be divided by areas. So the elements will be divided in groups where the area is less than 10 square meters or equal or bigger than 10 square meters. And this applies to the wall categories that we have chosen before. So if you want to add another range, just click into this section and enter another number, for example 30, and then click on the Add command. Afterwards, click on the OK button and add the color coding rule continuous and finish the process by clicking on the OK button. If I go back to the 3D color coded rule, you can see that some elements are colored light brown, and these are the walls which the area is defined as more as 30 square meters. Some elements are colored gray and are in this range, and the green elements are the elements which the area is defined as less than 10 square meters. So now I will go back to our exercise 4 breakdown because I would like to define those parameters and to review those areas on the basis of the certain levels this project contains. So I will go back and I will click the Edit button. And to review only the rule, I will click on the Reset Tree. And afterwards, I will click on the project and on the Add Breakdown rule to add Group by Building Level rule. As you can see, this property, this rule is on the end of the list. So if you would like to move it up, just use this command, which is stated as move up. And if you would like to move it again down, just click on this one. So now you can see that you can add various rules after the custom breakdown was created. And you can move those rules however you would like. So click on the Generate button and the structure of your custom breakdown appears here. And just click on the Finish button to finish the process. Okay, so now you can see that these areas are divided by levels. So if I click on a certain group, it colors yellow and it is placed in the entry level, and these are the elements that have the area defined between 10 and 30 square meters. Okay, so we talked about the templates command, and we said that we will talk about it a little bit later. This templates command enables you to create a template which you save as a file, and then you can import it again into a different breakdown or the same one. So I will show you the process how you can do that. Just click on the template and then on the save command, define the name of this template, which can be the breakdown template BEXEL sample project, and click on the command Save to finish the process. The software notifies you if you would like to open the folder, which in this case I will leave it so. And I will create a new custom breakdown where I will define the category walls within the Create Custom Breakdown window. So click on the new command and choose the option Blank Custom Breakdown. Define the name of the exercise, which is called exercise number 5. And under the type, choose the option categories. So now you can see the list of all the categories that are in the model. Click on the walls category, use the selection, and then go to the command which is called import QTO from the template. When you click on it, you will find this file, this template that we have created, and click on the open button. So now you can see the preview of your breakdown, which is created on the basis of the template. And if we examine the exercise 5, we can see that it has the same number of elements as the custom breakdown, which is named exercise 4, that we have earlier created. But the difference is that we have defined here under the create custom breakdown, under the type, that we will create a breakdown only for the walls category. In the exercise 4, we activated the category within the Building Explorer. But as you can see, the result is the same. So now click on the OK to finish the process. Okay, so as I said before, when you are dealing with BEXEL Manager, you are also dealing with different types of files. And in the folder lesson 4, you have the Exchange folder where the template is saved and also all the exercises. So if I go to the desktop and show you that, this is the document that you will download. And if you activate the lessons folder and the lesson 4, you will have here the Exchange folder. And within it, you have an example of the template and a BXF file. And this file format will be used also in the lessons that will come in the future. So now we will talk about how to create a BXF file, which is used when you want to exchange just a part of your project with another BEXEL Manager user. So now go to the icon and click on it to activate the Exchange or the welcome screen. And if you click on the Exchange command, you can see that you have here two options. So just to let you know again, you can also export an IFC file from our software. But in this case, we will use a BXF because we would just like to export a custom breakdown. And I would like to show you how you can import the files that are placed in the lesson folders. So if you would like to export the custom breakdowns that we have created today, go to the Exchange command within the welcome screen and click on the Export command. The Exchange wizard appears, and now you have the list of all the things you can export from the project. So click on the custom breakdowns and then on the next command. And within the custom breakdowns, you can also, of course, define which exercises you will export. So you can click on a certain one or you choose the button Select All. To finish the process, click on the Finish button and define the name of your BXF file. So in this case, it will be creating a BXF file and click on the Save button. So to go back to the welcome screen, you can choose the Import button to import the custom breakdowns that we have previously created, or we will use the BXF file, which is located in the Lesson 4 folder within the Exchange folder. So now, click on the Import button and activate the location of your BEXEL step-by-step workflow guide and click on it. And within it, choose the option, or should I say folder, lessons, and then choose the lesson 4. Within it, you have the complete model, which has all analysis that were described in the lesson 4. But now we will click on the Exchange folder. And here you have also a file, which is a BXF file, and click on the Open button to finish the process. So in the Exchange match sources, we will leave those parameters because they are fine and no different source has been added. So just click on the OK button. Choose a part of the project you would like to import. In this case, we have only custom breakdowns within the BXF file, and then click on the OK button. So if we go back to our viewport, and if we activate the custom breakdown palette, you can see that new breakdowns appear, which are called, named, titled, whatever you would like, test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and so on. So now you can see that we have created several different custom breakdowns. And by that, we have actually explained the whole topic from the lesson 4. And if you have any other questions, please do ask. I hope that our colleagues have asked everything, have answered all the questions. Okay, so what if they don't turn blue in the Building Explorer, you have asked. Okay, so if that doesn't happen, just a second, go back to the Building Explorer. You have here the option, the setting, the icon for options. And here is the tree option where you defined if the categories and elements from this list and selection sets and custom breakdowns will be colored blue. So you can define this within the options window. And I think with that, I can see that all other questions were answered. So for now, as we have finished with the topic 4 and we have explained the custom breakdown, I would just like to tell you that thank you for listening. I hope that you have found out some new informations and about BEXEL Manager. And I hope you will be with us next week when we will talk about lesson 5, which is actually covering the palette selection sets.